What is going on, guys? This is Skyhound, also known as Geek Archivist Xavier Pierce. So, as it's pretty clear, you guys already know that I do play Honkai Star Rail, and also most of us have been waiting for this update since, you know, they've been dropping little bits here and there online as time goes by. But we do know this that the next stop is Amphoreus. So I'm going to be giving just my general thoughts and some analysis with regards to the opening for 3.0, Nameless Faces. But before I do, I want to also give a quick shout out to a particular VTuber. For those of you guys who do follow her, Mina Aoyama, and for those of you guys who follow her channel, she just did her own general reaction to this. But I do know this that for some of us who know our mythology and literature, 3.0 is heavily referencing Greek and Roman mythology and architecture. It's pretty obvious from the opening itself, but let's get on with this, shall we? And then I'll give my general thoughts while at the same time going over a bit of the hour-long promo that was uploaded yesterday on New Year's Day. There's a reference to Atlas. So those are some of the flame chasers that we're going to be coming across. There's Meme. And then she becomes a brush. Okay, so now that we got that part out of the way, I will say this is actually pretty good. There is definitely some foreshadowing down here. We do know this one, Madame Herta is going to be in her actual form, and that's actually the first banner that is likely going to be dropped, not the other one, but I'm pretty sure. But because we do know that they're not dropping one pair of banners, but three. And there are some people pointed out in the comments on Hoya Lab in the community. Yeah, I'll say it anyway. RIP our wallets. Let me say it again. RIP our wallets. Rest in peace. Because this, you thought 2.7 was going to hurt? I was like, bruh, that's nothing compared to what 3.0 is going to be throwing at us. And I am not kidding. But anyway, let me get over through some obvious bits that I did spot. There is a short with regards to that particular red-headed fella that we're coming across. So going back here real quick, here we obviously Aglia, and then one of them being her her sprite that actually accompanies her in battle, her one of the summons. So basically, they do kind of explain a little bit like how she works, but I want to get to this part right here. If I can find it. Up right here. So this little fella, if you notice, one of them is holding a box, but look you see where my arrow's pointing? Look at the shoes. There's wings on there. On that little short regarding these guys, someone mentioned in the comments, again, this is on Greek and Roman mythology here, they mentioned Hermes, which is exactly correct. Because you look at the architecture, for those of us who know our history and mythology here, they really did a good job in terms of getting that particular aesthetic correct. There is another part here that I will say, let me see if I can find it. Give me a second. This part right here does reference one of the constellations. So I'll get to that point in a bit, but obviously there is something here. There's something here which one could argue is a bit of foreshadowing. March. We might be learning a bit more on her backstory, and most of us have been waiting for quite a while on this. Now, going back just a little bit, I want to point out here at the very start, they do mention what this one is. It's in reference to one of the Titans. This is a direct reference to, for those of you guys who know this book, Atlas Shrugged. It's an old book. I only knew of it just by the title alone. I'm letting you guys know right now. I only know the title, never read the book. There, I said it. But this is a direct reference to that character in mythology, Atlas the World Bearer. Now, with that part being said, let me shift gears here towards the special. That was 1 hour, 8 minutes long, and 43 seconds. So, Shaoji here mentions that Amphoreus is a world where 3 paths intersect, and they mention 2 of the 3. It can only be observed through the Garden of Recollection. So, in one of the missions on 2.7, one of them mentions about erudition. They mention the second one, which is remembrance. That gets revealed at the start of 3.0. Now, here's the riddle. The third path hides beneath the radiance of both erudition and remembrance. That, one might argue, sounds like a riddle. But for those of you guys who have watched it, I will put a link in the description down below. There is somebody who did analyze this, by the way. I'll put that link in the description down below for those of you guys who are curious. Now, I will say this, that I have 2 possible paths that I think fits this bill. But one of the 2 likely fits it better than the other. But knowing Shaoji, who has done the writing for this game, he might pull a fast one. He might say that we might be correct. Who knows? All I can tell you is that I've been saying this for some time online, and I know I'm not the only person. Cautious optimism. Take it with a grain of salt. Because they said that even they are not sure. But I will tell you guys which 2 I think might answer this. Number 1, not likely, but my first guess was destruction. The second one likely fits the bill more, and that's nihility. Because let me just go back here for a bit. Here's your clue. Hides beneath the radiance of both erudition and remembrance. So those 2 paths represent light and radiate. Why is it, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, put it in your comments down below, why do you think, maybe I'm not the only one who's thinking this, but I'm pretty certain that the third path has to be nihility. Now, as for why I think this answers the question of what hides beneath the radiance of these two paths. I have a slight guess, but I'll get towards that in the end. Besides that, I will tell you guys right now, when 3.0 hits, we will be getting 20 tickets. For those of you guys who saved, best of luck on your next upcoming pulls. I'm likely going to be pulling for Herda on this, but before I finish here, I want to go towards a particular part. Give me a few minutes here. Trying to find it. Oh, it's around here. Here we go. So they mentioned that 6 of the 12 core flames were already found. The Trailblazer is tasked to find the remaining 6. Now, looking at this, design-wise, I'll be quick here. There's a few that caught my eye. This reminds me of Poseidon's Trident. The Roman version of this one is Neptune. This one right here almost resembles that of a steering wheel of a ship. The one right here, at first glance, I was thinking antlers, but then looking at it closely, almost reminds me of a snowflake. One of the constellations, which is actually highlighted already, it's this one right here. If you notice, I'm going to go back here. Give me one moment. Notice anything? If you guys said that it almost resembles weights, you're correct. Because this constellation right here, that is an actual constellation in real life. For those of you guys who are into astrology, likely know what that constellation is. Now, they got it pretty damn close in terms of design, but they did draw again heavily from Roman and Greek mythology and story. Now, I want to point out a few other things before I finish up here. One of them is in reference to a bathhouse. They mentioned that. And then there's something here. If you notice right here, that's the name of the place, Castrum Kremnos. There is some terminology that does borrow heavily from mythology here. As you can see here on the structure, Greek and Roman inspired. This part right here is almost like a Colosseum from Rome. But we do see that this is in reference to present day. But when they show it during the day, this is basically time taking place, where the Trailblazer is going to be using the power of remembrance. So we're using a bit of time here. That is roughly in reference to Chronos. A little bit of mythology literature here. But this is just me giving my general thoughts. I'd like to know what you guys think in terms of that little riddle that I mentioned at the start. Earlier, when I was going to be going over this program analysis. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that nihility is the third path? Is it destruction? Or is it one that doesn't actually fit the bill? But with that being said, this has been Skyhound, also known as Geek Archivist Xavier Pierce. Stay safe, stay sane. Also, before I forget, Happy New Year for everyone else here. And I'll see you, fellow Trailblazers, in Amphoreus. Peace.